Good morning, guys. I regret not having a red packet QR code in my presentation, so you will not get airdrop, unfortunately, but I hope you stay through. All right. Oh, here we go. Okay, who is tired of hearing another presentation about L2? Raise your hand. It's okay. Oh, it's a bit, yeah. Me too. I've been giving the same talks 500 times till now. Especially there is another talk on the limit of L2 right after mine, so it's a bit challenging this morning. However, I still think that it is really important to talk about L2 and why we're building L2s, the importance of L2s, and who else is building L2s. Sorry about it. Yeah. So before, when I was preparing the presentation, I was like, I wonder what would ChatGPT says about L2 solutions. Now, knowing the timeline of ChatGPT, and it was telling me discuss various layer 2 solutions such as rollups, plasma, ZK SNOC, and state channels. Try to describe them with real-life example. For instance, layer 2 solutions could be like your parents finally buying a second bathroom in a house of 5. It just makes everything run more smoothly. And I thought this was a pretty good analogy because it is how I feel about building layer 2s and supporting a lot of different layer 2 network in the ecosystem. Except right now, we have more than 1 houses. We have more than 2 bathrooms. We have many houses. People often think about Ethereum as the metropolitan of New York City. So imagine how many bathrooms we would have in a metropolitan New York City. And that is the prosperity of layer 2s we're seeing in today's ecosystem. And during my preparation, I also encountered this tweet, and it says, I don't know who this lady is, by the way, so no offense to you if you're sitting somewhere here. She says, so many EVM rollups and so little differentiation. Can someone explain me why? And in my conversation with a lot of people, especially for the last few weeks at Zuzalu, people wonder the same, right? Like, why are there so many layers? So you can't really differentiate. My answer to them is, there is almost no need to understand the differentiation. We should just be grateful that there are so many of them to allow developers to build interesting application on it. We're not here to justify the existence of layer 2. We're here to support the layers 2 so the applications and users can have a better experiences on Ethereum. And to me, the most important thing of having a prosperous layer 2 ecosystem is showing the convening power of Ethereum. So for example, as we know, even a lot of alternative layer 1 protocols also adopts EVM compatible architecture such as Avalanche, Near, and Celo. So to me, the importance of layer 2 is really showing the convening power of Ethereum and the user base and trust we've built together as a collective. And second of all, to me, scaling Ethereum is not a war. It's getting the pie bigger. Or when I was at the backstage, I was talking to Vitalik. He was saying, it's not a war, it's a roar. I think that pretty describes it very well. I think we're not here to compete with each other. We're here to create a bigger platform or scale the metropolitan Ethereum New York City so more application can be built on Ethereum. And second of all, I think different interpretation of layer 2 only make Ethereum more resilient. I don't know how many of you were tracking the Ethereum gas client fell off in the last few weeks, right? I think the only reason Ethereum stay alive because we had multiple interpretation of clients. And in my view, having different layer 2 is very similar to having different clients. And lastly, more teams searching for use case, the more fun Ethereum becomes. In the beginning of Ethereum scaling journey, we only saw most of the hyper-financialized use cases, like aping into different meme coins. I believe that by having more layer 2, layer 3, layer 4 via fractal scaling, we can have more applicable use cases so people can actually have fun. I always use an example of how I get my mother into crypto. It's really via an NFT. I spent a lot of money minting an NFT that I think looks like her. And for the first time, she understood why crypto matters, why NFT matters. But imagine we can gift our parents, our friends, an NFT that makes them feel special. So to me, that fun element of Ethereum can only be happen via layer 2s. So now I'm obliged to talk about our own products here. As many of you know, ConsenSys recently launched a ZK EVM. It is pronounced as linear. A lot of people pronounce it as linear. It's linear. It's a Latin word for straight line. It doesn't have a lot of meaning, but it sounds pretty cool. So we have been working on this ZK EVM for the past 2 or 3 years. Unknown to many people, ConsenSys actually operates a pretty sizable R&D department. And one of our objectives was to scale Ethereum. Contradictory to what a lot of people thought about scaling Ethereum was via state channel back in the days. Our head of R&D have always thought about rollup as the best way to scale Ethereum. And in the beginning, we experimented with ZK payment rollup, and as of last year, we developed Linear as a general ZK EVM rollup. So why linear? You can probably see this slide applicable to a lot of different layer 2s. I see some of the other ZK EVM or optimistic rollup friends down in the audience. But first and foremost, layer 2 is secured by Ethereum, right? Is the platform that we all love and trust. Second is low gas fee, low latency, and high throughput. I think the Loopring folks have talked enough about that. I don't have to repeat. The third one, super important to me, and I think to a lot of developers, is the zero switching cost. So whatever you're building on mainnet or the existing sidechains such as Polygon, you can migrate to Linear without any effort, just like how you migrate to Polygon and Scroll, etc. We're all family. Fourth, fully compatible with all dev tools. As ConsenSys, we have Infura, Truffle, and what is HH? Never mind. Fast trustless bridging, powered by ConsenSys ZK EVM, which is a product of our R&D department. And I also want to highlight that our ZK EVM is default integration with MetaMask. As you see on this slide, if you go to your network and among all the test network, you can see Linear. So to your users, they don't have to add a new network and key in the chain ID, etc. It's already built in MetaMask. And lastly, we have a growing list of ecosystem partners. A lot of you are sitting here. So I don't want to talk too much about Linear or architecture, technical superiority, or differentiation. I don't think a lot of us here probably want to hear me talking about that. I do want to emphasize on the future of Linear. As I mentioned, we don't believe scaling Ethereum is a war. We believe it's growing the pie bigger. Therefore, in our view, the future of Linear is a multi-prover. It's ZK EVM such as Scroll and Polygon ZK EVM. We work together to make Ethereum more resilient. All right. Okay. Lastly, I want to touch upon some of the other ConsenSys products and capabilities. As many of you probably still remember, ConsenSys was a venture studio back in 2017, but that's not the case anymore. We did help a lot of the ecosystem products to grow, but now we're really trying to build products that empower both developer and users. So on the user access, we have MetaMask, MetaMask Institutional, and Codify. On the developer side, we have Infura, Truffle, MetaMask SDK, Diligence, and Protocol. I do want to mention MetaMask Snaps. So I understand the speaker was talking about a super app that allows people to do many things at the same time. At ConsenSys and MetaMask, we obviously want users to also experiment with a diverse set of use cases. But instead of building it ourselves, we want to empower you to build with us, and that's why we built MetaMask Snaps. So any developer can use the Snap framework to extend the functionality of MetaMask. That allows you to, for example, use MetaMask for access to another different protocol, such as Solana, Bitcoin. You can have a messaging protocol on MetaMask, so you can chat with your favorite wallet recipient, whoever that person is. You can also have security snap to enable transaction insights. So every time you click confirm, you can actually know what you're signing, because I think a lot of us don't. So it's a very powerful tool for developers to co-build MetaMask with us. Second, we are launching MetaMask SDK. So if you're app developers and you want a better experiences with your users who use MetaMask, it is, trust me, it's a much better experiences to integrate directly with MetaMask SDK, much lower latency, bi-directional communication. Obviously, there are other options like WalkMe, but we're already connecting with those libraries. Lastly, I do have a QR code here. It's decentralized Infura. At ConsenSys, we really want to harness the convening power of Ethereum, as I mentioned before. And that is true to Infura as an RPC endpoints as well. We definitely do not want to be the bottleneck of Ethereum when things, go down. So we are designing an open protocol for people to connect with us and build a decentralized RPC endpoint. So if you're interested, you can scan this QR code and talk to us. That's it. I think I have 7 minutes to the next speaker who can talk about the limits of layer 2. Thank you, guys.